Quantum Kickflip is a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network. Locally grown, community supported.
Previously on Quantum Kickflip.
We were mostly at the dash to, if we're being honest, try to find you. We had a great time.
We want you on the team!
Your crew? The three of you?
Woldton, I have witnessed that you are very capable, and I believe that doing slugblasting would be a very good task for you to take on.
You now have access to your very own private chat room, where you can meet, message each other, and talk to each other as if you were talking in person.
I was really hoping I could have your help sort of shepherding my way over to Popularia.
I would be amenable to that.
Fucks yeah, I'm in.
I would like to bring Brably off-world.
All right, then I guess we have a run.
You have a run. The five of you are going to Dibocon. Everybody, and welcome back to Quantum Kickflip, a Slugblaster actual play podcast. My name is Laena, I am your host, I am your Slugmaster, and with me are five of my best and funniest friends in the whole world who are going to introduce themselves to you now. Last episode, we unlocked a bit of a virtual space for y'all to hang out in, so as you're introducing your character, I want you to tell me what their VR avatar looks like, thinking along the lines of, like, The Sims or, like, Mii's in the Nintendo Switch or what have you. What does your little virtual guy look like?
Hi, my name is Robyn, and I'm playing Maeveline Xandross, the grit playbook with the photonic jacket. And I think she's one of those people who, when given access to a character creator, spends, like, way too much time in the character generation process making, like, the perfect replica of herself down to the smallest detail. So, like, to the point that, like, she never actually gets around to playing the game because she's just using the character creator for so long. So yeah, I think Maeve's avatar looks uncannily like her in that, like, every detail is perfect, but also there's, like, limits to the avatar software. So it's just like, it's like looking into a weird, uncanny mirror.
Hi, I'm Michael Vetsch. I play Woldton Wick, the chill playbook with the robot companion. And I think Wolt takes a similar approach in terms of making his avatar look like him. But it's a very chibi version of him. So, very accurate in look and style, but he's very small and cute.
Very small and cute, yeah.
Hi, my name is Glenna. I play the Guts playbook, Brinley Zirk. She has the Gravity Blaster as her signature device, and I think she's always aspirational with her avatar. So, because she is from Operablum, and everyone, like, Operablums tend to have very pastel-colored hair, I think she, like, makes the avatar look like herself in hairstyle and dress, but changes the hair color to something, like, very bright that you wouldn't see on Operablum, like a chestnut brown.
Hello, I'm Liam. I'm playing Helix Pinnacle, the Smarts playbook with the Hardlight board. And I think Helix didn't care much about the self-expression of this opportunity, and was more going for utility. So his is whatever the default setting is, which is, I think, sort of like a neutral gray sort of humanoid figure. But he is wearing things. It's just things that would improve the user experience of this software. So the gray dummy has, like, headphones on because Helix sprung to be able to get audio in stereo. And then he's got, like, biker gloves on because he's got certain hotkeys for switching in and out of, like, filters, maybe, like, voice filters, at the ready. And so default setting with just, like, a few little accoutrements that represent some sort of functional change, advantage that he's got when using the software.
This is giving me, like, dressed up mannequin vibes.
Very much so.
But also, like, headphones and, like, gloves and a belt, but also, like, nude.
Yep. Yeah.
No pants, because there's no pants upgrade.
Only accessories.
Oh, the belt is to minimize like shock for some of the like 360 movement. It'll like prevent you from bumping your knee into the coffee table.
My name is David Ray, and I play Trev 4, and I have the Heart playbook. And I'm thinking Trev 4. He realizes that he can create whatever look in there, but he's not a creative entity, right? So he's got to go with the only reference point that he has for people in his hard drive, which is, of course, canonically all of Three's Company. And he's going to go with the most popular character based on the amount of laughs, and somehow it kind of almost breaks it because it's not like restricted like all the others. It is a pitch perfect recreation of Don Knotts' Mr. Furley with like a bright orange vest, a flowery shirt, like he has an ascot tied around his neck, sort of bell bottom like pants, sort of, or they flare out anyways. And then like Don Knotts with the wavy gray hair and those big old bug eyes that he has. That's very expressive. So perfect recreation.
If there's any moderation in these VR chat rooms, Trev's gonna keep getting kicked out. Like, that guy's a pervert for sure. Like, get him out of here. He should not be in this chat room with teenagers. This is not good.
Allowed for some reason.
And as I said, I'm Laena. I am your host, and as always, I have forgotten to come up with a bit for this, so my VR figure is just an error 404. So, welcome. When last we joined your heroes, you were all looking for each other in the various towers, and you at first had very, very little success in finding each other, and then you had a whole lot of success all at once at the very end. And now you have finally found a way to communicate to each other via this VR chat room that Wolt has passed along to all of you. So I want to see this chat room. I want to see these avatars. Let's play some Slugblaster.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
QK logging on.
There is far more to Operablum than what resides within the physical walls of the three towers. The digital world of this dimension is teeming with activity, with libraries of information moving through cyberspace in the blink of an eye. In Lansdon Enterprise Megatower, memos and blueprints move from one high-security server to the next. Meanwhile, teens skipping school post hashtag skate-life videos of them barely pulling off hoverboard tricks in hidden stairwells. In Web Corporation Megatower, databases of every single resident automatically update with each retina scan and thumbprint reading. In a quiet lobby, two kids throw a frisbee that only they can see thanks to the projections in their cybernetic eyes. And in Kindred Multiversal Megatower, mall rats in food courts chew Wilkie's Bubble-lectric bubblegum and hack into files of outdated robot models, swapping out archived work logs for soundbites of nursery rhymes played with fart sounds. There is one corner of cyberspace that, since its formation not long ago, has sat empty and quiet. The silence of the space is broken for the first time as a figure materializes out of thin air. This figure appears to be a neutral gray humanoid shape, largely featureless with the exception of a few accessories: headphones, biker gloves, belts. Accessories, but no clothing. This avatar is slowly joined by three others as Helix Pinnacle, Maeveline Xandross, Brinley Zirk, and Woldton Wick join their private Nexo chat room for the first time.
Incredible, it worked!
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, according to all the systems and diagnostics I'm running, we're not being tracked. Nobody knows that we're having inter-tower communication here. This is fantastic. And where did you say this was again, Woldton?
Well, it's through an old server of it was a social media platform called Nexokin, something Kindred was really into early on. I don't necessarily know why my phone upgrade still got me access to here, but it seems like it's a secure enough thing that has inter-tower access for all three.
Incredible.
Hey, Helix, where are your pants?
There were no pants that offered some sort of utility upgrade for the software we're using, so I opted not to equip them.
Yeah, but What about the utility of not being naked?
Well, sure, but this is a digital reality where I mean, one could argue clothes are barely necessary in the waking world, but what? where else does she shake loose the shackles of society's assumed? I don't want to wear pants.
I can respect that.
I mean, that's a direction we could go if everyone wanted to not wear pants. That could be interesting. See where it leads. I don't know.
Sorry, I missed what we were just talking about. I was connecting Scampy up, and beside Wold materializes Scampykin, who is roughly the same size as his chibi form, so we can kind of climb on top and ride him like a little horsey.
Can AI join the room? I mean, I suppose so. They're in an intelligence nonetheless.
Yeah, I actually rented out Trev 4 for the day. I just wanted to make sure I could connect my Daibo Vice up, but I'll hook him up next.
I want to take a moment to describe this room that you are in. It is very much Void-like. I like to envision that these chat rooms, maybe in your character customization, you've gone through some things that you could unlock or buy or whatever to furnish this place. But in the meantime, it is a, big, expansive, gray floor that pretty much extends as far as you can see with no apparent walls or ceilings. It's just a dark gray haze.
Can that dark gray haze be the same color as Helix's avatar? And so if he stands still, it looks like the headphones and the sunglasses and the belt or whatever are just floating. And then if he moves, you can see the distinction in the lines. Like the outline of his body.
It's like the fucking Predator.
You're like a shade off. Yeah.
Oh my god.
You're like the weirdest example of can you spot the differences between these two colors test?
Yeah.
Maeve notices this about Helix's avatar. It's like, man, Helix, I know you're all about utility in your avatar and stuff, but I feel like could you put something on this thing is giving me the creeps a little bit. I lose track of you, and then you move, and it's like you just stepped out of the landscape. I can't imagine anything creepier. And then Don Knotts materializes, and Maeve is like,
You know what? Honestly, with his eyes, he looks a little more operablin than human. So,
can we help you? What's going on, sir? We're allowed to be here.
It's me, Trev 4. Don't worry, I'm here to help you guys.
it seems like Trev has found the menu for different voice packs.
It was pretty easy for me to just take the voices and program it myself. Hey, so this sounds like a great idea. What are we doing?
I believe we were preparing our trip to Popularia.
Yeah, I figured it'd be good to talk through some of the details before we try and make the jump to the festival.
Oh yeah, is this your guys' first time? Who's been?
Well, I haven't been before, but I hear that it's at Popularia University, which has the coolest skate park in the whole multiverse. There's a whole loop-de-loop.
Ah, sick.
I also was interested in visiting some of the other things Popularia University features. I appreciate you bringing the loop to our attention, Brinley. That sounds amazing. I was definitely interested in visiting their highly renowned laboratory.
What's in the lab?
All sorts of tech from all over the multiverse. It was featured in Slugblaster magazine a couple months ago. Multiversal tech from all over. Slugblasters and anyone really interested in nega-friction technology can swap ideas and trade components. It's a great place to tinker and upgrade.
That's definitely somewhere we gotta stop, because listen, we need to get our hands on some components, gang. We need to upgrade. I mean, if we're gonna get taken seriously on the circuit, we gotta bring our A game, and no better way to do that than to soup up our devices. Although, as much as I'm, trying to keep the crew's goals in mind, I gotta say, university life is all well and good, but you realize that means we're going to be steps away from the original Infinite Pizza location, right? Oh god, we have to go. Have any of you? I can't stop thinking about it. Their endless sausage is the best thing I have ever I realize how that sounded as it started to come out of my mouth, but I don't care. It's that good. It is that good.
I forgot the original location was so close to campus.
I've never been to Popularia, but I am willing to help you in any way possible.
Trev, you're always talking about, helping us in any way possible and how you can be of assistance, but like if you're going to be part of the crew, you know that you can do stuff that you want to do, right? Like it's not just about helping us. You can what do you want to go to Popularia for?
Well, it seems to me that it would be a smart idea to upgrade my equipment if I'm to be a great Slugblaster. So don't worry, I'm going to take care of it and make sure we get some great components. It'll be super groovy.
Is that like an old-timey way of saying Gridge? What is that?
It is unclear to me. I just know that it's in the voice files.
Fair enough.
Nice. Well, I'm sure we'll have time for all these things. There'll be a lot going on at DaiboCon, but...
Oh, yeah. I got so excited about pizza, I almost forgot the whole reason we're going.
Yeah. It's huge. I've never managed to go before, but I think here with the crew we can actually make a run to get there. Just thinking about all the different Daibokin trainers that'll be around. I hear there are rumors that all of Fraxnus might actually be there as well.
Wait, all of Fraxnus is going to be there, not just part of it?
No, Olive Fraxnus is her name. She's a really top-tier Daibokin trainer. She's been multi-time league champ even though she's only 15. Kindred's even partnered with her to test drive a lot of new Daibokin releases. And yeah, she's trained them all up through so many different surge stages. It's really impressive.
I don't know about any of that. I'm just hoping we see Bradley. That kid was Gridge. Well, it should be a breeze. I mean, the route to Popularia goes right through Prismatia, and we've already been there. We were just there the other day. Like, it should be a cakewalk. I don't think there'll be any problem.
Yeah, straight shooting.
There won't be any problem at all. So you're all going to agree to meet in Trinity Municipark. From there, you can take the portal into Prismatia, and then it's just a simple matter of going through Prismatia and punching through to Popularia. We're gonna cut to Prismatia now. No urgency in the plane of Prismatia was a damn lie. The five of you are racing desperately through the golden expanse, struggling to avoid razor-sharp glass trails and temperamental clouds of psionic lightning. Bearing down on you is not one, not two, but 4 glasshoppers, their antennae flashing threateningly, their crystalline wings sending shockwaves as they vibrate and rattle. They came out of nowhere, and you have no time to figure out whether they're hungry or vengeful. You have no time at all. You need to find a way out of here, and fast. Surprise, nerds! I am spending 2 GM byte to land you in a situation way over your heads. You need to escape from 4 glasshoppers. The first successful roll will get you to a portal zone, but in the meantime, you are in a whole heck of a lot of trouble.
All right, everybody stay calm. We can do this. We're a crew now, and we got each other's backs. Oh, God!
I am scanning for possible exits out of Prismatia.
Well, scan faster. We gotta go. That one almost clipped me with that psionic lightning.
I don't know how I would make a check for that. I don't have the space-time ampimeter built into my thing yet.
Does anyone have a space-time ampimeter?
No, actually, I can't even do that. Never mind, I can't even really search.
Oh yeah, none of you has a way to find thin zones, huh?
Can that maybe explain how we smash cut into this, problem situation? Because we were trying to freestyle our...
Try to find your way to Popularia through a portal zone that you've never been to before? Yeah, totally.
I like that.
Because we do have a route to Popularity. It's through Prismatia, but it looks like, we didn't get very far.
Not exactly, and you will need to find a way to escape.
Trev, you keep saying you're scanning for thin zones, but I don't even think you have a space-time ampimeter. I don't think any of us does. Which, I don't know how we were expected to find our way to Popularia without one.
I was just looking for a door.
That's not how it... Oh my...
It was
Okay.
Brinley's hot idea to freestyle it, air quotes, and then he like dives as some glass hits him near his feet, and he dives out of the way.
I just thought the last time we were here, things were really chill and nice, and so it would be pretty easy for us to navigate it again, alright?
Did you forget about the 1/4 of this danger that attacked last time? It was like this, but about, 75% less.
The math checks out, and he's like, kicks a glass shard back the other direction it came from.
Yeah, but we dealt with it last time.
That's true.
I was really expecting this to be smoother.
Yeah, do your cousins have any secret back ways, or did they tell you about any kind of that phone upgrade of yours unlock a map or anything?
I don't know, they only brought me here for that one run. Do we just head back the way we came?
And we're having this conversation like as glass is flying around us and we're dodging bites, yeah.
I was going to say that probably my omniscience aperture is probably the thing that's helping kind of keep an eye on these things. So I might be swooping around every once in a while and just kind of like nudging you out of the way or pulling you out of the way as you're having this conversation, just like, and I'm able to just kind of move around like that. That's probably what's currently happening.
And you know what I'll say as well? Maybe I'll give this to you, Trev, because as has been brought up, none of you have a space-time ampimeter. You don't have the tech that actually helps you detect thin zones. But I think with a combination of Trev's omniscience aperture and your advanced portal tech that you all have as a crew, I think that maybe if you basically brush up against a thin zone, you realize that it's there. You know what I mean? You can't really scan for them at a distance, and you can't do it with any sort of accuracy, but if you get close enough to a thin zone, you can punch through. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so my thing is just kind of picking up the signs of it almost. By accident, yeah.
I think let's get a roll. Let's get a roll to see if you can find what you need. And with the advanced portal tech, normally that grants plus 1d6 to map rolls. Y'all have never used that, so I feel like I should pay that back a little bit and give you plus 1d6 to this roll from your advanced portal tech.
Okay. I'm going to add a kick on there. Because it kind of makes sense to me because I'm not using the software as it's meant to, so I'm kind of pushing it and doing more advanced calculations. I'm going to add also an extra die on there.
Feel free to take it from the crew page if you want, because you're saving all our asses if you find it.
Right.
That's true. There are hype dice, and the first success will get all of you out, but if you fail or roll a problem, it could be real bad.
I'm actually going to use one for my attitude as well, I'll take one of the hype die. I think it's important enough. Right before I roll this, Trevor's like, check this. I promise that I am of great help. And he just starts, and so this is me, what is that?
Doing a trick?
Doing a trick, yeah. Oh no. The highest I rolled on 4d6 is a 3.
Oh my god, really?
Wild.
Yeah.
Oh no, Trev, 4.
What was the trick you were attempting to do?
It's basically I'm trying to do too much, right? I'm helping you dodge as I'm scanning. I basically probably maxed out the computing. I just don't have enough RAM to do it.
Yeah.
And since we're moving so fast, maybe we passed it and I recognized it, but by the time I processed it, we were too far away or whatever.
Oh my god.
So I don't know what, and that wasn't do a trick, which I know that also raises the the horribleness of it. So
It sure does. Oh my god.
So this is what I'm going to offer as what might happen is as I'm saying, I'm trying to track all these objects, trying to do all these calculations. It's too much, so I'm slowing down, which is going to affect a dodge. So I'm thinking maybe as I'm pushing somebody out of the way or something like that, it's a bit too late. And and I take a slam from one of these glass hoppers. To raise the stake on that, I don't know what would be worse. Maybe a super slam?
I do.
Yes? Oh,
I do.
You got one. Okay.
I got one, and y'all aren't gonna like it. Everyone takes a slam.
Whoa.
Whoa!
Y'all can choose individually to nope your slams or nope other people's slams, but everyone is going to get a zapped slam. Trev4, you're trying to position everybody in such a way that they can punch through the thin zone, but your calculation wasn't quite right, and you maybe you do see it, but you move past it. You cannot get through. And 2 of these 4 glass hoppers, their antennae flash and glow, and lightning crackles between them, and then branches out in several forking streams of white-hot light that strikes each and every one of you.
Helix is not going to do so because I last session unlocked Flicker Switch. So I think Helix goes activate Flicker Switch and taps his board twice, like he does like essentially the gesture you would do to do an ollie. So like kicks his foot down. But then kicks it again a second time and blinks out of existence for a fraction of a second.
Alrighty, Mark 1 Turbo to activate that ability.
Can do one of my kick.
Does anybody else want to nope their slam or use an ability similar to Flicker Switch to avoid this slam?
I think so. I guess it just sort of comes down to what the psionic lightning is classified as. One of my pieces of gear is the knockoff Scramcat T, which allows me to avoid slams from lasers and other electromagnetic energy for 1 trouble.
I will count that this is electromagnetic, or like in the vein of lasers and electromagnetic energy.
Okay. Then yeah, I think I'll mark the 1 trouble for that, and maybe part of invoking this gear is the jolt of electricity actually does it manages to pop Wolt's dress shirt open a bit, and we see that he has this t-shirt on as an undershirt, and I've chosen to style this one as an old print of a tee from the Wicks that used to be part of their old merch before they got picked up and actually got real merch printing and stuff. So.
Very good.
I'm going to do something very similar because my photonic jacket, my signature device, has the same ability, nope slams from lasers and other electromagnetic energy for 1 trouble. So I'm going to mark 1 trouble. And yeah, I think she just is in this panic, in this rush, trying to escape these glass hoppers, but sees it out of the corner of her eye, sees the flash as these electric branches start forking outward, and just manages to pull a quick 360 and take it on the back of her jacket and just sort of absorb the energy from it.
It stings a little and your hair goes on end, but yes, the brunt of this has been avoided. Brinley, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'll probably just take it.
Okay.
I don't have anything fancy to avoid it.
And it's early.
Exactly. So I'll take zapped.
Sounds
That's
like
just
plan.
what the GM wants us to think.
I'll throw it out there, Brinley, too. I have from last run a carryover slam of Worried. That is part of the reason why I wanted to nope this, is because I already got 1 slam box full. But we had written down that you're the one who notices, and I think maybe it's in this moment that as I am panicking and stressing and trying to get us out of here, and then see this lightning and just throw myself in a circle and take this lightning bolt, that you just kind of see her break a little. It's just damn it, and maybe catch that this is more stress than Maeve usually gets in these situations.
I think for Trev 4, I'm also going to take the hit because the way I described it, right? Any of the things that I had technically could dodge it, but I think because I rolled it and I rolled bad, I think it makes sense that really the things that I could do to avoid it aren't working, so I have to take it full on. I think that only makes the most sense.
Sure, if that's what you want to do for yourself. This does mean that your slam boxes are full because you took a slam last downtime. If you take another slam, you will have to roll for disaster.
But it's just because, like, in this particular thing, I can't justify pulling that off, and I think I'm going to take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You build the narrative grave for yourself.
I did that because I was not expecting to lose. I was like, 4 die.
Frankly, neither was I, but I'll take the L.
What are slams but another resource?
Yes.
The L is for learning. Anyway, y'all still need to get out of Prismatia. Who's got the next play?
I think sort of spinning out of that shock, since Wolt managed to dissipate it and not take quite the same brunt of it, he slips the silver bangles off his left wrist and takes one in each hand. And these are what I've styled as Wolt's ray gun that comes with his sort of standard gear. I've called them twin zero beam pistols. And I'm just going to start trying to take some pot shots to hopefully break up this group of, you said there was 4 glasshoppers?
4, yeah.
I'm hoping maybe if I throw enough fire down the middle, it might help sort of split them off a bit.
Okay, gotcha. Let's get a roll.
Okay, so because of the chill attitude, I always start off rolling 2d6.
So Maeve, I think, wants to help on this action. Just being one of the ones that didn't take the slam is still, like, got her wits about her. She sees you go to level your ray gun there. I think she's just going to, like, make her way over to you on her hoverboard and kind of essentially spot for you and have your back. So as you're setting up your aim and lining up your shot, she's going to, like, skate next to you and clear shattered glass out of your path and sort of, like, make sure that you're not going to get zapped with psionic lightning or anything. She's just sort of watching your back and keeping you clear.
Nice.
And feel free to take a die or a kick from my playbook.
I love this imagery of both of you getting, like, zapped, taking it with your respective pieces of protective gear, and then, like, shaking it off and coming together to fight this off. Very good.
Yeah.
Also, Wolt, please take the 1d6 from your advanced portal tech. I will let that ride.
Oh, okay.
Dope.
If that's the case, then I'll snag a kick from you if I can, Maeve.
Yeah.
So I'll be rolling 3d6 plus a kick in hopes to sort of break up this swarm of glasshoppers. That's a 6.
All right! We got there! Describe this beautiful scene.
Yeah, so I think sort of being steadied by Maeve, maybe you use like one of your many forearms to sort of like hold me in place a little bit, help steady that out. Wolt lines up these 2 rings that he has in his hands, and he just starts opening fire. And I think the energy that he's shooting out of them kind of looks like very much because they're silver bangles, the energy comes out almost like jolts of mercury, just very liquid and silver, but with a bit of a blue aura to them. And he's just laying down fire all through the center of this swarm.
Cool.
So cool.
I think as we finish up this maneuver, Maeve has a moment where, like she kind of just grabbed you by the shoulders, like, in the moment unthinkingly, just, like, steadied you because that was what needed to happen to make this maneuver happen. And then as the danger clears, she sort of realizes that she's got her hands on you and gets immediately very flustered and, like, pulls them away sharply. And is like, sorry, I mean, good job there. Great work.
Thanks, let's get the others and go through.
I think as you are going, you may notice that Trev is kind of, like, resetting right now. Like, he's probably, after he got hit by that lightning, he's, like, kind of drifting and he's, like, rebooting kind of a thing. Running diagnostics as he's trying to boot back up, but he's kind of, like, floating listlessly, like his rocket knees are probably not engaged anymore. His hover thing is still on and, like, allowing him to keep float, but he might be a little bit adrift.
He's got a loading bar on his face.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Helix skates over to Trevor and it's like, hey, buddy, come, Trevor.
Is
Is this maybe something I need to roll for, like to shake him out of it, or is it something I can just, whatever the digital equivalent of like slapping him across the face a couple times.
There, you know where the like little pinhole is that if you stick a pin in it, he'll like do a little reset and it'll help him out.
Just old calculator tech.
Yeah.
You take out a cartridge, blow in it, put it back.
I go into the, I control alt delete him, close some programs running way too much, using way too much RAM.
The Dog Knots voice patch is still running somehow in his mind somewhere.
End task.
Yeah, I quickly go in and end a bunch of tasks, and that's the robot equivalent of like slapping his face back and forth.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes, Trap 4, you come to, having been successfully revitalized by your friend Helix.
Thank you for your help. I seem to have failed at my task.
Don't sweat it. We're in dire straits here, though. You really need to keep an eye on how many programs you have running there, buddy. You're gonna wear yourself out real quick.
Well, and what's going on in Trevor's programming is a part of the diagnostics. He realized that there's a little bit of defragging that he needs to do that he would normally get if he had plugged in to do his updates. And so he's kind of realizing like he might be in a little bit of trouble. And he just kind of like nods and I will endeavor to do better.
Right, well, we gotta bounce. Let's roll.
All right. And with that, the 5 of you punch through the thin zone. Moving through the portal zone out of Prismatia feels like abruptly waking from a dream. Or maybe it's the other way around and you've been thrown headfirst into the middle of a dream. The sky above you is a deep indigo, and the sea foam-colored grass ripples out and away from you in a long, winding ribbon. Is the ribbon moving or stationary? Does it actually connect? You're pretty sure you see a part that spirals down and meets back up at the top. How does that work? You hear the whispering of water over rocks, or maybe it's actual voices? The saccharine smell of flowers sings sweetly to you, and you think you see a flying silhouette in the distance. You know it's called a deer, but you don't know how you know that. You're shaking, your heart is racing, and your processor struggles to comprehend a code with several missing formulae. It's nice here. Too nice. Welcome to the plane of Empyrean, pals.
Whoa.
Whoa, indeed. So, you have punched through Prismatia into the neighboring dimension of Empyrean. So, not fighting glasshoppers anymore, that's a plus. There is, however, one little hoop, and that is staying in the plane of Empyrean for any extended period of time typically requires logic binders, which none of you have.
Yeah, we don't really get those as a crew for another, 2-tier levels.
Whoa.
That's bad.
So what does that mean? Like, what does it mean when you don't have these logic binders? Is it just like do you physically fall apart? Are you is it just messing with your brain? Like, what does it mean to not have logic binders?
Yeah, so logic binders are a form of, protective gear. You've got breath masks with for places with bad atmospheres, and Haswear for temperature changes and stuff like that. Yeah, logic binders basically protect your logic, your math. Being here is you will struggle to make sense of kind of what's going on, and I'm very much following the idea of dream logic, right? If you ever think back to a dream you've had, you're like, hang on, no, none of that actually made sense. Now you're fully in it, so maybe some things are gonna make sense that really don't, but yeah, it's kind of hard to sort of wrap your heads around the place that you're in. Is it even real? How is this impacting your life And have you ever thought about how life just keeps going and, the philosophical ramifications of that? Don't get lost following your own train of thought kind of deal. What this means mechanically for you is I'm going to set up 2 tracks. The first is going to be a progress track that is 4 marks called Exit. Once you mark all 4 spots of that progress track, you will have found a thin zone and I will let you punch through without a roll. The second track is a danger track that will be 8 marks long, and it is called Peel Back. Now, peel back is what happens when you're out of your home dimension for too long, or if you're put in particularly strenuous circumstances. It is where you are pretty violently snapped back to your own dimension. The priority is kind of getting you back home, even if you're not back home in one sound logical piece. So it is an extremely unpleasant experience in the Slugblaster world, and something you want to avoid as much as possible. And all of you are starting to feel this strain, picking your cells apart a little bit, and trying to pull you back out of this dimension and back to Operablum / not Operablum.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So, if the peel back danger track is fully marked, you're all snapping back. You're all gonna be violently yanked out of this dimension. And I will say, bit of some challenge in this run. Any problem that you roll is going to mark that track.
Like mixed successes mark it too.
Mixed successes will also mark this track. So you do only have 4 spots of the progress track to mark, so you might find a thin zone in relatively short order here, and who knows, maybe you might even want to push your luck and see how long you can stay in Empyrean. But remember, every problem will mark this danger track, and once it's fully marked, y'all are snapping back home.
Laena,
Yes, Glenna.
in my other gear, I have something that is just nebulously titled Something You Shouldn't Have.
Yes. Once upon a time, you used that to have an illicit address to a tower that was not Lansdowne. What do you have now?
I'm just wondering what would happen if I had a logic binder.
I would need you to tell me how you got that bad boy.
Well, we have established that Brinley has no qualms about picking up things that fall off the back of a hover truck.
Vis-a-vis the gravity blaster. Yes.
Yes. So I think she was over in Kindred looking for books or something for her little sister, and happened upon I'm picturing like a travel booth.
Okay.
Like one of those travel agencies where there's like pamphlets and souvenirs and things from all these different places, but for dimension hopping.
Okay.
And there might be a display-only logic binder.
That Brinley straight up swiped?
Yeah.
The old 5-finger gravity gauntlet discount.
Yes. Like on her way out, she might have just like, whoop.
I'm just gonna write a little something in my GM notes. No reason.
I love that because maybe it's also like if it's from a travel agency, it's like, the headphones that you might buy on a plane where like, yeah, they're fine for now if you don't have headphones and you need to watch the movie on the plane, but like they're probably not the best quality headphones if an airplane is selling them for super cheap. And maybe it's the same with a logic binder where like, yeah, it'll bind your logic for now, like it does a good enough job, but like maybe don't want to push it kind of thing.
Yeah. It'll bind your logic in Empyrean, but do not bring it to Quahalia. It will tear you to shreds and then reassemble you and tear you up again. Yeah, okay. I will let you have this logic binder. I do like the idea that it is limited to 1.
Yes. My thought is that they can share it like one single scuba pack underwater. Where they just pass it around so that everyone has enough cognizance to stumble forward.
Okay, perfect. Whoever is wearing the logic binder when you mark your whole track will not peel back. I love this. So do you wear it first then?
I think so, yes.
All right, you put on this logic binder, and suddenly it all makes sense. Of course, you're in Empyrean. It is the ribbon paradise of changing skyscapes and landscapes, incredible wildlife, basically the full antithesis of Operablum. There's ground here. What the heck? And at least as far as you can see, no structure in sight, let alone giant corporate mega tower.
Bryn, as you're looking around, I think you see probably all of us having little mini freakouts as we're trying to get a grasp on where we are. And Maeve is just looking at all 4 of her hands and kind of moving them in front of her face and is like, how many hands do I have? This is too many, I think. This is too many hands to have. It's a bad number. And she's just kind of moving them around. I'm doing it in the room and no one can see it, but I don't care.
Helix is slack-jawed, grinning, almost drooling, and like chuckling to himself. From his perspective, the way his brain is trying to like make sense of it is sort of forcing it into things he's seen in like animated programming, whatever the Operablum equivalent of like a Looney Tunes cartoon is.
Yeah.
And he's loving it, almost kind of uncontrollably, like chuckling, laughing to himself. Because he's the smarts playbook, you know, the world makes sense to him. He's been bred for the world to make sense to him, and nothing here seems to make sense. Ignorance is bliss, and he's sort of relishing in having just about everything around him be out of his depth. You'd think it would be scary, you think it would be a form of uncontrol, but he's just like, look at it, look, the flowers grow, they're smiling at the sun. Of course flowers smile at the sun, flowers love sun. He's like waving at some flowers and they're all smiling, he's waving at the sun, it's smiling. He's kind of enjoying being stupefied.
Wolt is just lying on the ground, making some grass angels in the turquoise grass, and just like staring up at the sky, and it feels like the grass keeps growing higher and higher around him, and he's just going to make an infinitely deep grass angel here in the grass. Wolt is touching some grass.
I'm trying to think of like how this is affecting Trev 4. I'm thinking it doesn't. The issue here is probably affecting him different than the rest of y'all. I think he may even be operating normally, because I'm thinking physics still works essentially the same, sort of, in this place. Sort of?
It's a floating ribbon with no,
up or down?
Yeah, kinda. The physics are a little wishy-washy. It's a little hard to parse.
No, that's fair. So I think he's still operating normally. The problem is all of his sensors are giving him conflicting information, so it's actually like he might just be kind of like unable to really know what's happening. Like he can't, because normally you would get, as he's scanning around visually, he'd normally be able to process things, but he can't process it. So I think he's just kind of like twitching, sort of, as he's like looking, trying to like process, like looking, and he just can't quite do it. And like, you know, his programming will kind of adjust it, you know, allow him to do certain things, but right now he's still trying to make sense of things, and he can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a Roomba once that broke, and it would just, you turn it on, it would do its Roomba thing for 5 minutes, and then it would just start going in a circle, because the sensors had given off, and it was...
Yeah.
like an elderly pet, like it just didn't really know how to, like... orientate itself. Yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of wandering, yeah.
So Bryn, you see Trev 4 moving in a tight circle, constantly stopping and starting, but always moving in a circle. Helix is just looking around and laughing uncontrollably. Maeve is staring at her hands, and Wolt is actually kind of getting swallowed up by the grass. You're losing sight of him.
Oh no. Hey gang! Everybody! What's going on? We gotta... farts.
Brinley, how many hands do you have? It looks like you have the right number.
Well, yeah, but that's because I'm from Upper Rablum and you're from Thenispar.
Right. And where are we now?
I think... Empyrean?
I think that, snaps something in Maeve's brain to attention, and she's like, right, okay. Oh, God, we don't have logic binders, and oh, no. All right, we need to focus. We need to get out of here. I need to stop thinking about how many hands I have, although it is just so many. Is this too many to have? I feel like it's too many. No, hang on. We got to get these guys. We got to snap everyone else. And she runs over. I think she goes towards Walt and then realizes that she just recently, had her hands on him and felt weird about it and is like, Helix, snap out of it, buddy, come on, and starts snapping all four hands worth of fingers in his face.
Yeah, you don't want to touch Walt right now because that's too many hands, and your brain would explode probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many hands. That's 2 times the embarrassment.
Mm-hmm.
So she's snapping her fingers in Helix's face, trying to get your attention.
He reaches. He's got his board on his wrist. Right, I've established it's a circle that can strip. He reaches behind his back, even though he doesn't need to do that to activate it. Activates something with his hands, over his shoulders and behind his back, and just whispers to himself, activate X-axis sledgehammer, and like a cartoon pulls a big... In his mind, he's pulling a big sledgehammer out from behind his back, but really he's just sort of fashioned his board into a hammer shape, almost like a... and is about to bonk you on the head with it, cartoon style, before he's like, wait, whoa, it's Maeveline. Sorry, you look like some sort of threatening Elmer Fudd-esque.
Helix, we need you, buddy. You're the smartest one in the crew, and we got to get out of here. We're in Empyrean. You know Empyrean, right? Because you know everything. Please, you have to know everything. That's what you do. Yeah,
he shakes it a bit, shakes his head a bit. It goes a little less Looney Tunes, a little more like Fleischer. And he's sort of grounds himself. He's like, okay, I think we're good. But he is going to keep his board in a sort of a Warhammer shape. And I've described before, it's always in 2 dimensions. They're never it's never 3 dimensions. So I guess it almost looks more like an axe than a hammer, but nonetheless, he's holding a big, in his mind, like a big Looney Tunes hammer, but has his bearings a little more to try to push through.
Yeah, in fact, you're pretty sure you know exactly where to go. You just have to find the right way to get there, and it's going to be a whole Narnia-esque adventure. And the problem with this kind of place is that when you run, you always run slower than you think you're going to go, but you're pretty sure you know where that you're going to go. Your logic is sound here. Definitely, yeah. And Trev is still moving in a circle.
Bryn hears Maeve say the words, "You're the smart one," and she's kind of like, "Oh, obviously," and goes over to Helix and rips the logic binders off of her head and jams them on his head.
What's Bryn's trip?
I think the second she does, everything gets real slow. And everything gets real... I think it's like she's moving through molasses and she can't quite get her hands to go the way she wants them to.
Bryn, stay with me now. What was that? What did you put on Helix there? What are we doing? Is that did you have a logic binder?
Yeah.
Bryn, that's incredible.
Yeah. He's the smart one, right? Oh.
Yeah. No, good thinking. I mean, maybe you're the smart one now that I think, whoa. What if we're all the smart one? And what if none of us are the... No, come on. Focus. You wanna go wake up Walt, get him out of the grass there? Wait, where did he go?
Scampy gotta check this out. Scampy can go. Make a grass angel.
Maeve's gonna make her way over to Trev 4 and hopes that Brinley will deal with Woldton because she's not ready to deal with her emotions in this logicless space.
Having the logic binder on, Helix sort of continues to calibrate his perception. So like I said, it goes from a Looney Tunes cartoon to like old Superman Fleischer, not the Betty Boop Fleischer cartoons, the old Superman ones. Clicks it like again, and it goes to like a Miyazaki, like nice anime, and then finally it's he can kind of see almost like the eye doctor, like 1, 2, 1, 2, but it's bouncing between like Ren and Stimpy
reality,
and anime, and he's like, okay, shit. And I think I'm just going to try to see if there's anything, like I don't have any abilities or anything that let me zero in on.
So yeah, I think part of this is going to be, finding your way sort of through Empyrean, probably similar to how you broke in from Prismatia. Trev 4 kind of has the software that if he gets close enough, you can tell that there's a thin zone, and your advanced portal tech can sort of help you punch through, even though you don't have the precision of the space-time ampimeter. So it's gonna be a little bit of a sweep, and hoping you don't come across anything, too deadly. And as you think, you try to take a couple deep breaths now that, you've kind of got your wits about you thanks to Brinley's ill-gotten logic binder. And you start to feel really calm, and then you feel a little too calm. And Brinley, you approach Woldton, and as you start to pull the grass away from him, because it actually was kind of closing around him and sort of wrapping him up, and so you start pulling the grass away, and then it kind of starts wrapping around your hands a little bit, and it smells so good. It just smells so nice that you could just curl up in it and have a little nap. And Woldton, you're getting really sleepy as well. Like, the grass is growing higher and higher, and it's so nice, and you're just gonna be lulled away. And Helix, you realize that the area you're in, the grass and flowers of this place is actually quite potent and fragrant. And if you're not careful, y'all could just fall asleep on the spot.
Friends, we need to vacate this location. There's certain potent scents and pollen and things coming off of this flora that could be dangerous to us. So if everyone is able to, we need to mobilize.
Yeah.
Right. Check. And Maeve has made her way over to Trev, debates like she wants to slap him across the face to try and snap him out of it, but also is like, he's a robot. He's not going to like feel a slap on the face, and is kind of debating what to do. And ultimately just like grabs Trev's head and like whips it to try and basically like spin it around in a full 360 to see if that pulls him out of it. Dave, you can tell me if it does or not, but she grabs your head and spins it unless you stop her.
I don't think you necessarily get any resistance. It just it goes around. But I think you're probably going to have to guide Trev. To me, I don't know if Trev can just...
You're pretty sure your prime directive is just spinning now. Maeveline seems to have reinforced this idea for you. And I will say that maybe Trev, because you said you keep stepping forward with your right foot, and that's what's sort of sending you in this circle.
Yeah.
The tall grass has started twisting around your left leg and is sort of getting higher and higher. So you're a little bit tangled too, and may need to be released from this grasp.
Fair enough, yeah. Maeve tries spinning your head a couple more times, gets a little bit distracted by that, and then snaps to again and is like, right, and just sort of grabs you with all four hands and, like, begins physically dragging you forward out of the grass.
All right, so you are in this field of tall, fragrant, sleep-inducing grass, and this is your first obstacle that you need to clear. The grass starts to turn from sea foam to orange, and the sky melts into this like deep green hue. And yeah, for this, I would like a roll from somebody.
I think I've got the logic binders on, and I've got access to our crew's advanced portaling gear. So I think, I'm just going to try to roll to see if we can perceive our next sort of leg of this exit. And I'd like to use pool from my attitude, so my playbook.
So you're rolling with 2d6 and basically you're trying to... I mean, are you kind of like looking around and using the tech? Are you trying to rally the crew to get them out of this field?
I was going to look around using the tech to try to find where we go next and leave it to them to pull themselves out of the touchy grass.
Sure. Okay. I like this. I'll let it mark the track.
Yeah, there's no point running away if we don't know where we're running to, so.
Sure. Yeah. Sounds like a very smart move, so.
All right. Let me just calibrate this here, see if I can find where we're going. Ooh, that's a 6.
It's a 6.
A 1 and a 6.
Incredible. So not only do you succeed at marking the progress track, you don't mark the danger track.
Hooray. And what do I see?
I think you figure out, because you're on a big, wide ribbon, right? It extends out in front of you and extends out behind you. I think you are able to figure out that you do need to go forward, more or less. Forward relative to Helix, I suppose. It's constantly forward or backward relative to Trev. So we'll keep it in Helix's perspective for now. And you kind of also know which way to sort of like go widthwise of this ribbon. And it's going to sort of take you along the sort of hills and valleys that are kind of rises and falls of this ribbon. There are a couple of like wispy little trees, and there's even like a bit of a rock bank with like this creek running alongside it. So you kind of have your landmark for where you need to go next, along with several things you could potentially hoverboard jump off of if that's your steez.
Friends, I can see a rock formation adjacent to a creek off in the distance. I'm reluctant to call it forward because it looks like we're standing on an Ouroboros, but let's refer to it as that-a-ways, and points to the rock formation.
All right, everyone, you all know to go that-a-ways.
Maeve grabs Trev by the shoulders and starts maneuvering him in that direction. And I think she's having trouble just like... I think Trev is pretty solid and, he's made of metal and whatnot. And if he's got his mind on going in a tight circle, it's probably hard to maneuver him to do otherwise. I think I actually want to try rolling to see if I can reorient Trev into something a little more manageable. If I can, like, load him up like C-3PO in a backpack, or hop on his shoulders and ride him like Yoda. It's all Star Wars references. How many more can I make? I'll pick him up over my head like a Tusken Raider, shake him up and down, something like that, you know. Find some way of transporting him that isn't just shoving him, because that doesn't seem to be working. Okay. And I'll let you decide if that's, marking our progress track towards our ultimate goal or not, because I feel like it's more just a short-term convenience factor. But either way, I'd like to make that roll if you'll allow it.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Sweet. Do we want to... Should it be a contested roll between me and Dave?
Okay.
Like, I know you're not actively contesting me, but, like, you're subconsciously working against me?
I suppose so.
I like the idea of a flat 1d6 versus 1d6, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, God. Just whoever rolls higher, throw successes and failures out for this.
Sure, yeah. I like this.
Okay, I rolled a 3.
That's a 6, baby!
All right. If Trev had won, I would have definitely thrown some complications your way, but I think this action was initiated by Maeve, so yes, you are able to use whatever Star Wars reference tickles you the most to free Trev from his little grassy anklet that he had wrapped around himself.
I like the idea of, like, it's not, because he's not broken into pieces, so it's not, like, carrying him in a backpack, but it's, like, maybe she just, like, he's not putting up a ton of resistance, and she, like, folds him into a bit of a makeshift backpack, and just, like, she's got, 4 arms. 2 of them can be kind of gripping him through his, like, she's folded his legs up into makeshift backpack straps and is gripping those, and then has 2 forearms free to still, like, interact with shit. But, yeah. just essentially wearing Trev like a backpack and is like, all right, let's go. And begins moving in the direction that Helix indicated.
Trev 4, thank God, you finally have a prime directive, and the prime directive is to be a backpack. And of course, a backpack is the most productive thing to be here on the plane of Empyrean. So not only are you a backpack, you are the very best backpack. Congratulations. Oh, amazing. Bryn, I think you were going to free Wolt.
I was gonna try and free Wolt. I don't... What would Bryn do?
What would a logic-scrambled Bryn do?
I think she's like, well, okay, that way. That way is, like, up. Okay. Wolt. Okay. And she grabs his hand with her left hand, and with her right hand is going to use her impulse rig to launch them high in the air. Away from the grass.
Very good.
Very. I want to roll. Wolt, you can decide if you can help, if you want to help or not, or if you're happy where you are, I guess.
Has the attitude I don't really have dice that I can share.
Oh, that's true. You're way too chill to help out.
Yeah, I'm just really enjoying this grass. We don't have that much grass in Upper Rainbow.
That's true.
I will add a d6 from my gravity blaster.
Mm-hmm.
And would she? Like, mechanically, I would love to do a trick, but...
Oh, please do a trick.
Yeah, sure, let's do a trick.
Yes.
Because of show off, you get plus 1d6 when you do a trick. You just can't help it. The spotlight loves you.
Sounds like a plan. It sounds like we've got 3d6 on this roll.
3d6.
Okay.
That's a 5.
A mixed success. And you did a trick.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Very good. Yeah, you know what? Describe launching yourself and Wolt, and describe this trick.
I think it's... How does this work? Dream logic is how it works.
Mm-hmm.
I think she launches sort of backwards and arches her back and does like a slow-mo Matrix bullet dodge in the air. Because everything is so slow for her. Like, it's really hard for her to move.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Everything seems slow to you, but in fact it very much is not. This is a success, so I will go ahead and mark your progress track. 2 spots have been marked, you have 2 to go. There was a mix, so I am marking a spot on the danger track. 1 spot has been marked currently. In addition, everything feels like it's moving slow for Brinley, but you're actually moving really quickly. And you do manage to pull Wolt out of this grass and launch both of you high in the air. And as you move back to bullet dodge, you accidentally fling, and Wolt goes flying.
Oh no!
Much farther than you anticipated him going.
Yes.
I'm soaring like a real angel.
He goes flying through the sky that is slowly lightening from dark green to chartreuse, and lands with a splash on in the creek in the distance. Wolt, I'm not going to give you a slam, but you are very much separated from this crew.
No.
And with everyone's logic the way that it is, this might not be very good.
Did he get flung in the direction we're heading that Helix said to go, or the opposite direction? Or do we know? Because, are we even aware?
Oh, you're pretty sure he got flung that away, which is really convenient.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. So I think I will say that all of you have managed to escape this sleepy grass field. You kind of like come up to like a ridge of this ribbon that kind of like dips and rises in these hills and valleys with these little trees dotted alongside, and the creek running along. Wolt is quite far down this creek at this point. I will say, because of course we still have some spots to go on the progress track, Trev, for you're not pinging, you don't sense a thin zone, and what good would a thin zone be to a backpack anyway? Who knows, but everyone seems really adamant on going that away, so as long as you can stay a backpack, you're good to go.
Good.
Quagmire.
Maeve is struggling to focus. She knows that we need to get out of here, but she watched Brinley launch herself in the air and fling Wolt, and she can feel the cracks beginning to form in her determination here, and she's I want to make a roll to just sort of like push through this and navigate the next part of the terrain here. Can you describe again, like, what does the next chunk of ribbon in front of us look like? It's like the ground is a big, long, winding strip floating in the void. What does the next portion of it look like?
Yeah, it's sort of like rippling along. It's mostly rippling up and down to create this sort of hills and valleys effect. The creek is following along. Somehow it goes up and it goes down. And then it tumbles over the side in a waterfall. That just like goes off into oblivion, and also kind of like reconnects a little bit further up as like part of the ribbon curves up and over.
Yeah, I think Maeve's way of making sense of this place and pushing through this sort of mounting panic is to do what makes sense to her and to go with what she's best at. So she kicks off on her hoverboard and is just gonna attempt to navigate this next section and maybe even take some sick jumps off of these bends in the ribbon of landscape. Try and get some air off of these. Maybe jump over the river if she can manage it. So yeah, I want to make a roll.
Absolutely.
I am going to add just 1d6 from my attitude. Okay. I feel like Maeve would add a kick to try and get through the progress track faster. That would be in character, but Robyn is loving these complications, and luckily someone snagged my kick earlier to fight some grasshoppers, so I have no kick to add, which is fine by me, because I want to spend some more time in Empyrean, so this all works out. So I'm rolling 2d6 about it.
Okay.
We got a 2 and a 3.
A 2 and a 3. Did you say you were doing a trick?
I did, yeah. Taking some jumps off of the landscape, yes.
Cool.
So that doesn't happen, and also it makes my problems worse, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. What kind of trick were you trying to do?
Like, I think I'm all about forward momentum and trying to get where I'm going. So like, I'm taking a jump off of one of the ripples in the landscape, and maybe just doing like a grab, like nothing fancy, nothing that's gonna slow her down, but just like trying to do a tail grab maybe.
Okay, so this is really dumb, but you know when you're playing Tony Hawk, as you do, and you like jump off the ramp, but then you hit a button wrong and you stall on the side of the ramp and you didn't mean to do that?
Yeah.
You do that? But you absolutely expected to, like, you know, vault up into the air, but something about the jump you pushed the wrong button. What? Who knows? And you stall, and then you completely biff it and tumble down into a valley.
Okay.
This is going to, of course, mark another spot on the danger track. And I think what I'm gonna say, you're not gonna take a slam. You tumble down and like sort of crash into what seems like a weird bump in the valley. Like, it's weird that there's a hill at the bottom of the valley. I love doing this bit, but then it sort of gets up and stretches and arches its big back, and this like this kitty cat that is blue and the size of an elephant kind of shakes off and wakes up, and turns to look at you.
I like the idea to like crashed into what I thought was a bump in the landscape, and then it's an elephant-sized creature. Good God. Maeve, get your head on straight.
It's a big bump, but also by
gotcha.
bump standards. But how big does a bump actually get? Hang on.
Yeah. Focus.
Yeah. Focus.
I think she looks up at this creature and starts making the same noise that Trev is making on her back. Yeah.
Beloved listeners, it's me, Laena, your Slugmaster Game Blaster, wanting to thank you so much for listening to this episode of Quantum Kickflip. How you doing? Empyrean treating you okay? You've all got your logic binders on, right? You've all left a 5-star review on your podcatcher of choice for Quantum Kickflip, right? Good. Happy to hear it. Hey, maybe you're doing some holiday shopping right now and you're looking for some gifts for your gamer friends. Why not get them a copy of Slugblaster? The book is absolutely beautiful, the game is so much fun, and you can find the link to the Slugblaster store in the show notes of this episode. So do not wait, get your holiday shopping done, fam! We are at Quantum Kickflip on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, so be sure to follow us for new episode updates, audiograms, and more. You can also subscribe to us on Patreon, where for just $5 a month you can get early access to every new episode of Quantum Kickflip, as well as bi-weekly bonus content like outtakes and our Session Zero. That's patreon.com/Quantum Kickflip. I'd like to thank our sponsors at the Alberta Media Arts Alliance Society, whose goal is to advocate, educate, and celebrate the media arts in Alberta. Check them out at amaas.ca. And finally, we are proud members of the Alberta Podcast Network, who have a ton of amazing, locally made shows over at albertapodcastnetwork.com. We release Quantum Kickflip bi-weekly, so you can catch the next chapter of this wacky adventure on Wednesday, December 28th. We're going to get you folks right back to the action, but first, here's Brayton with a word from our sponsors. Greetings, I am Break Response 8 Neurobot. The other NPCs have all gone on break, and so it is my duty to read to you the ads from our sponsors. This episode of Quantum Kickflip is brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross. Even if you're a busy business owner with more meetings than hours in a day, you are calm and collected with your group benefit plan is taken care of by Alberta Blue Cross. Your employees can manage their own health, dental, life, and disability coverage online at any time on any device, making it easier for them and for you. To learn more and explore your options, head to ab.bluecross.ca. Oh, that will be the life, to be a busy business owner with more meetings than hours in a day. I can only dream. This episode of Quantum Kickflip is also brought to you by Park Power, your friendly local utilities provider in Alberta. In Alberta, you get to choose who to buy your internet, electricity, and natural gas from. If you choose Park Power, you are choosing a positive local business. Plus, Park Power shares its profits with local not-for-profits that are working to make a difference for their communities. Shopping local is very important to Park Power's owner Chris Kazowski, and we love local here at the Alberta Podcast Network, so it is a great fit. Learn more at parkpower.ca. When I am the business owner of the bot shop, perhaps I shall ask Kindred Corporation what shopping local is, and if we can implement the practice, I'm sure the monopolizing mega corporation will be very open to the idea. That is all for me. The break is over, and you must now go back to the action. Goodbye. Who's got to play? Wolt, you're in a creek really far away. Do you? How are you? How are you feeling?
How did I fall? I'm like in the middle of the creek.
Yeah, I think so. And it's like, I think it's Again, dream logic. You crash through and it's very deep. So, of course, as always happens when you fall into water from a great height, you are not hurt at all. And you get up to the surface, and you break through the surface, and then you stand up. So maybe it wasn't that deep, but also it was because you did not get hurt. But you do probably need to get your footing a little bit better to make sure you don't tumble off, get fully carried by the current and tumble off the side of the ribbon. So you can stand up, but also maybe you don't want to be in this creek, just like you were in the grass, you know?
I'm almost wondering in this, the instance of being here without the logic binder, Wolt as the chill is maybe pretty susceptible to this.
Oh, yeah.
Just things aren't making sense. That's fine, though. It'll work itself out. And he's kind of a little too chill to really take agency here. This might be a weird offer. Is it weird if I just, continue to lay in the creek and, roll over face down?
Into the water of the creek?
Wolt's really thrown out by this. I'm leading up to something. With it.
Okay. You're gonna tumble over the side if you don't roll about it. Roll to get out of the creek. You don't need to roll to stay in the creek. You can stay in the creek if you want, but you are gonna tumble over the side. But that sounds fine.
Wolt's never been swimming, and this does feel very relaxing. But there is an inherent peril in this.
Yes.
And I think something that Wolt had just done prior to being launched was releasing Scampykin. And this is something that I'm gonna take a little shot at. I think Wolt still has the Daibo Vice in his hand, and despite being in this weird sort of spaced out chill, there is some sort of underlying something spark that is just oh no, I'm in trouble. And I am going to use Button Masher, Mark 1 Turbo to use a locked mod for the length of 1 action. Potential problems are worse.
Yes.
And by marking Turbo, I'm just going to mark one off from there. The mod that I'm actually trying to unlock is called Neural Network.
Oh.
Your robot now has the intelligence, communication skills, and common sense of a human child and grows smarter and more independent each day.
Okay.
And since this is, normally that would be a very big upgrade sort of one, since it's only being used for the length of an action, I think it's just going to kick in, and I'm going to manifest that through Scampykin data surging.
All right. What is data surging, Michael?
In Daibokin just being Digimon, essentially, this is digivolving. This is we've talked about before having a specific Daibo Vice with data search capabilities, and normally that would be, if I had to fully pay for this upgrade, that's what that would entail. But I think there's something special about the bond between Wolt and Scampykin. They're just he really cares for him. He's always been taking care of him. He always paid attention to that digital pet side really well. And this is manifesting for the momentary ability to essentially digivolve and be able to help him out of this creek.
Okay. I love this. Here's what I'm going to say. I think what's going to happen is I will let Scampykin data search. And this maneuver to save Wolt from the creek is going to require a roll, which you can use your 2d6 chill with, even though Scampykin is kind of the entity making the roll at this point.
Ooh, I'm down for that.
All right. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, so I think with that I'll roll with the 2d6. I will add a die from the normal Robot Companion Turbo, so I'll be rolling 3d6. I don't really think I could pull a trick on this. I don't know how that would exactly work.
I mean, does Scampykin look really cool when he data searches? Maybe.
Oh, maybe it does. You know what?
Sure.
When you phrase it like that, check it. Oh, yes. 2 failures and a 6!
All right. Paint us this word picture.
So after Wold is flung, Scampykin just immediately jetted off from the grassland area ahead, zooming across the plain of this winding grass ribbon down toward the creek, leaving a stream of bubbles behind as he jets forward. And the yellow Daibo Vice in Wolt's hand begins to glow, and the screen kind of lights up. And at the same time, Scampykin takes over his whole body begins to glow in this same yellow, enveloping the form in a shining light. And much like classic 90s Digimon, we're transported into a sort of transformation sequence in which we see Scampykin sort of floating there, spinning on the spot, and we hear, "Scampykin, better search too! Carcinokin!" And emerging from this yellow light, leaping forward into the waters of this creek, is Carcinokin, the Scampykin's data-surged evolution form, the next step up. He looks like a little orange crab with 2 big claws and 4 legs, and he's got, it almost looks like he's got goggles over his eyes, is kind of the design of it. And he lands with a splash in the creek, manages to hoist Wolt up by gripping him by his shoulders with the claws. Now, Woldton! Now isn't the time for a swim. Your companions need you on this adventure. I think he's able to, once he's gripped him, he uses the other claw and to generate a new, stronger bubble jet that launches them back towards the shore of the creek. Scampy, what's going on? You can actually call me Carcinokin now. We are still one and the same, but, well, you've helped me to grow, Woldton. You're Scampy, but you're all crab, and, the logic really isn't working on this one for me. Do all shrimps grow up into crabs? This is not knowledge that I have.
As you're having this conversation with your newly transformed Daibokin, we are going to go back a little bit further back this way on the ribbon to Helix, Trev, Maeveline, and Brinley. 2 of you are currently about to be swiped and pawed by a big ol' cat. And Helix and Bryn, you are watching this unfold while also being momentarily distracted by a transformation sequence over here, but then you snap back and everything is good and you're back in focus. What do you do?
Glenna, do you have an offer? Otherwise, I have some questions.
Go for it.
Offer.
Go for it.
Who's about to get swiped by a cat? Trev and Maeveline, because Trev is on Maeve's back. Yeah, I think I established that I had turned my hoverboard into a giant hammer. I want to pay that off. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to take a big swing at the cat to try to shoo it away. I think I don't want to like actually crush it and hurt it, but like a shoo kind of motion by swinging a hammer at it. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to add some kick because I would also. Before this cat got involved, my instinct was to give the logic binder to Trev because I can see how much they're both struggling. Oh yeah. And I kind of like this this idea of like we all take a turn having some of our logic binding. So I am going to add a kick from my turbo pool on my hard light board. Okay. Where I wanna try to swing to get the cat away and toss the logic binders over to Trev. Okay. I love that. So, help me out. You've got a kick on this. What else did you add? That's it. 1 die. Here we go. 1 die, 1 kick. Oh my god, okay. Oh my god. I better add a d6. I'm going to add a turbo from my... Okay, you're scaring me. Yeah, there's no way to really do a trick for this, so I think I'm just going to have to... It is not a fancy move, so yeah. Go on, get back, you beast, back. And he swings the hammer with one hand and then... throws the logic binder with the other. Oh, that's a 6. Yeah! A 3 and a 6. Yeah, so you are swinging your hammer towards this cat. Its eyes go real big, and it looks like it's gonna bat at your hammer for a moment, and then just like it gets a bad case of the zoomies and just bolts way far that away on the ribbon, leaving Maeve and Trev 4 safe.
and describe this sick move of you passing off the logic binder.
Yeah, I think it's one hand backwards with the logic binder where he's trying to be like, take it, grab this from my hand, and then his right arm is extended, swinging a warhammer the size of a snowboard, but also very light because it's made out of light. So it's literally light. It is light and light.
Everything is made out of light when you think about it, though.
Oh, yeah.
And nothing
Laena,
touches.
truly the highest one in this dimension.
Oh, actually, hang on. I suppose he has to take the logic binders off. And so when he pulls the logic binder off, his hammer turns back into that big kind of cartoony hammer.
Yeah.
And even though it doesn't literally have that, he sees it as having some sort of like swaying elasticity. Like the arm of the hammer bends and the top of the hammer, curls back and then springs forward as he swings. It doesn't actually have that elasticity, but that's what he sort of sees it as now that he's got the logic binders off. And hopefully, with my 6 and my kick, it makes it over to Trev, and Trev can get his shit in order.
Oh, thank God, Trev, for you've been given a prime directive, finally. You didn't know how much longer you could be a backpack, but your prime directive is now take this logic binder and put it on. It is the most important thing you need to do.
And because I think the logic binder is the thing that actually makes sense, it might be something you can recognize, like as an object that's holding itself kind of a thing. So I think how it might work is that there's like probably some sort of attachment set that holds onto the person's back of their head. I'm thinking that there's also going to be a port on this logic binder, and so he reaches kind of behind him and puts it into that port that's in his back, that where he gets all his updates and everything. It's acting on that port, and now that I kind of aware of, like, I'm being, folded up like a backpack, and realizing that he's never had a directive of being a backpack, and it's just like correcting everything kind of ramps up. He gets off of the back of Maeveline, and I kind of am aware that we're in a terrible space, so I think he immediately starts winding up the thing, like looking for a way out. I'm going to add a kick once again for my hyper optic visor.
Okay.
I'm going. This time I am going to use a turbo, an extra die from that.
And I will say that because you're basically looking for that thin zone.
Yes.
What I will say is, it's not here. You do need to keep progressing forward. So there is some forward momentum to this roll.
Let's see. Okay, that's a 5.
Okay.
And that's with a kick on there, so.
That is with a kick. Okay, then. You make your way forward, and you get the sense of it being a little bit thin. What you're actually going to do is you're going to sort of crest up over one ridge, and I think you do make your way past Wolt. So I will say that Wolt does have the opportunity to join up with all of you again. As you sort of crest up over this ridge, you find yourself in sort of a wide meadow, and bits of the ribbon are sort of branching off at this point, and sort of spiraling and corkscrewing down off the side. And to everyone else, it probably looks absolutely bonkers. But Trev, you can sort of make sense of what's happening here. In the center of this meadow with these like spiraling, corkscrewing bits of ribbon that are going up and down and all around, you can sense that that's where the reality is thinnest. That's where you can punch through. Again, you don't have a space-time ampimeter. You don't know where you're going. You don't know where this thin zone's going to take you, but it is a way out. Because you added a kick, we will mark all the spots on your progress track. You have your way out. It was a mixed success, so there is one more mark on the danger track. So that's 3 down. You still have L back on peel back. So as long as you make your egress quickly, or, in a medium amount of time, you're probably fine. The other complication that I'm going to sort of throw at you here is this meadow is not completely uninhabited. In fact, you hear this sort of rumbling, and coming up over a ridge on the ribbon of the other side is this, like, stampeding herd of everyone, the most beautiful creatures you have ever seen. Oh my god. They're charging on these 4 hooves, and they're just like these muscular sort of creatures with long necks and long faces, and like short hair all around, but also a long mane going down the end of their long necks, and this long flowing tail of hair that's rippling out, and there are these beautiful pastel colors as they're stampeding down, and oh my god, they're so beautiful, you guys.
What are they?
They're horses. They're pastel horses.
Maeve catches a glimpse of these beautiful, beautiful creatures. They're gorgeous. But she's having a hard time because when the cat was in front of them, she put her hands up to sort of like try and protect herself. And then her hands started branching out and multiplying, like a cool Doctor Strange visual, where she's just like, every time she moves her arms, it leaves a trail of hands behind. And so she's trying to like catch another glimpse of these horses through the just like mindscape of her own hands, but she can't. She's surrounded by bronze-colored hands that just hang in the air, and she can't seem to find her way out. She's losing her focus a little bit here.
I think as you did pass the creek, Wolt did sort of get up out of the water and join along. Karsinikin was able to sort of focus him enough that he recognized the group going by.
Nice. So Wolt rejoins.
And Brinley still in the sky, or what happened to Brinley?
I don't know. We never described her landing.
Well, to be fair, you're moving so slow.
Yeah, so slow.
Where is Brinley now? What's she doing?
I mean, she probably came down eventually.
Probably.
Trev 4, his volume is going to go way up. He can yell louder than anybody. And he just like, emergency exit this way, emergency exit. And just tries to like make that really loud to try to give a point for them to know to come towards. Even though, because he kind of is aware that their perceptions are off or whatever, so he's just trying to be nice and loud and distinct, trying to offer a way for them to follow. And I know that the horses are coming, but this is where I'm hoping that the loudness might spook the horses in a different way, in a different direction.
Okay.
Being the opposite of a horse whisperer.
Yeah, I'm a
horse shouterer.
Yeah, horse shouterer. Yeah.
So I think that since this is also important for me to protect them, I'm going to take a kick on this as well.
Okay.
And can I have it? Oh no, I'm going to use. I have one last die that I'm going to add from my visor.
So 2d6, 1 kick to basically scare off these horses and protect your friends?
Yeah. And with that, I rolled a 6.
Okay. You yell quite loudly, and everyone, your attention is sort of drawn to this beacon, and emergency exit is this way, so you're good. You know where you need to go in case of an emergency. It's not that way or this way, it's this way. So all of you know where the thin zone is and can make your way through. What I'll say, because I like these horses, they stop stampeding when they hear you, and they sort of like slow to a little trot and then to a little walk, and now they're just kind of around, but they're not going to hurt you. They are placated, they're just a little bit off, over that away a little bit.
Okay.
And they are not a threat, but they're still there and they're pretty. I like them too much for them to just disappear entirely.
So maybe what Trev might start doing is going and collecting each person, like as getting the farther one, the person that's the farthest away, and like swooping in, grabbing them, pulling them, and like bringing them to the thin zone spot, and just like start collecting them. You know.
Sure. I want to sort of take a temperature of where the other 4 are at. Do you want to go through the thin zone right away? How's everyone feeling?
Bryn just wants to go fast again. And she feels like no matter how hard she pushes, she just can't go fast.
Oh.
So I think that is her impetus for wanting to leave.
Yeah, I think Wolt's also on that train of get back out of the logic weirdness.
Mm-hmm. You've had your excitement with being rescued by Carcinokin?
Yeah, there's a lot of things to unpack, and having the math would help with that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Is it fair to say that Carcinokin is Scampykin again?
I was almost going to say, I think Wolt recalled Carcinokin back to the Dibo Vice so he could, and then hopped on the board to sort of catch up with the crew.
Yeah.
And yeah, Carcinokin has transformed back to Scampykin, but I don't know that Wolt has been able to figure that out fully.
Okay, so as far as he knows, Carcinokin is hanging out in the Dibo Vice.
Yeah.
After.
And maybe when he gets back, it'll be Scampykin, and he'll be like, was it all a dream?
Who knows?
Was he always just a shrimp?
Who's to say? It was probably just a manifestation of your desperation. But you don't know that, because you're here, and it's nice. Too nice. Helix and Maeve, how are y'all feeling?
He hasn't, he took it off, and so he's got a little more grounding, but everything's gone back to being cartoony. I think he sees those horses as like a Looney Tunes horse, where it's a very big, chunky body but short, stumpy legs. Like when Bugs Bunny's riding in one of the opera cartoons. But he's also not feeling threatened or overwhelmed, so I think he's just, if possible, I'm just going to start booking it to the glowing, like over a hill. There's like he sees it as like exit, like a glowing sign. Again, everything looks very cartoony to him, but because he had a moment with the logic binders, he's a little more grounded. So.
Okay, so he's making his way to the exit as well?
Yeah.
He can see Trev, but Trev's head looks like the exit sign.
Yeah, with and his head is shaped like an arrow. Yeah, absolutely. What about Maeve?
I think when Trev amplified his voice and shouted, from Maeve's perspective, it like knocked all the hands away and cleared her vision. It sort of like snapped her back to attention for a second there. And she kind of like, for the most fleeting moment, gets a sense of what's really going on here, that she has been standing in a valley looking at her own hands while a big cat almost ate her, that the smarts of their crew is giggling softly to himself, that Bryn is maybe still in the sky somehow, or maybe she's landed but launched herself and has not been seen again, and just like is really feeling like, man, we didn't do great here. Like this didn't go great for us. And I think it just like strengthens her resolve to like, she does want to leave. She feels like this plane is not agreeing with them, but she also doesn't. I think she's the kind of person who like can't take the L, and is like, no, we can turn this around. This has to be. This is technically our first run. Like whether we like it or not, we didn't mean for it, but we're a crew now, and technically this is our first time out, and dang it, she's gonna make it a good one. So I want to use my ability of sacrifice your body, and take a slam. I feel like it's probably like strained or some sort of a like less of a physical, like I'm taking damage, and more of a like I'm taking the damage of this plane. To my psyche. But I want to like make my way to the exit, but I also want to do a cool fucking trick on my way.
Yes.
And I want to stream it using my phone and hashtag it and put it up. And like, I'm putting our team, we don't even have a crew name yet, but dang it, I'm going to stream this and it's going to look awesome. And everyone's going to talk about the hot new slug blasting crew.
Is there anything else you want to add to this role?
Yeah, I want to add a, wait, what am I doing? So I was going to add a kick, and then I'm like, what does that achieve? Like, what am I trying to do that's more...
If you want to add a kick, I'll let you mark 2 style.
Oh, incredible, yeah. That's...
If you add the kick, you get to name the crew in the post.
Yeah, I'm gonna add a kick to my roll for my photonic jacket, and I think it's just like trying to make this stream look extra incredible by setting my photonic jacket to you described like the grass in the sky as kind of constantly shifting colors.
Ooh, yes. As of right now, I think the ribbon itself has become this like bright saffron yellow, and the sky is like this navy blue.
Yeah, I think she just sets her jacket so that it is always a complementary color to her surroundings. So she's always like standing out with a bright contrasting color that like is, you know, part of the same palette, but the opposite side of the color wheel. So that just like, if it's, you know, if the sky is blue, she's bright orange. And if the grass is yellow, she's lavender. And it's just like constantly shifting and changing to match her surroundings, or to contrast her surroundings.
Beautiful.
And the trick she wants to do is she's going to smack a couple of these horses and try and get them moving again in the opposite direction, away from us, towards the thin zone, so that she can be like hoverboarding in amongst a stampede of horses, and they can all jump across a gorge or a valley together.
Amazing.
It's gonna look so
Almost
fucking
like
sick.
In a nature documentary when like a drone flies down beside a herd in the savannah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And she shouts to Trev and is like, Trev, get your camera going.
Yes. Indeed, I am recording.
Beautiful. Let's make this goddamn roll already.
Yes.
1 kick, 46. Oh my god.
I don't know what happened.
Okay. The highest was a 5.
Okay.
So it does go through, but oh boy.
All right.
Just barely.
I think you are going to take the slam of strained from Sacrifice Your Body. I like that. You will mark your 2 style. Describe how beautiful this looks.
Yeah, there's this, I think, you know, we see this maybe from the perspective of Trev as he's filming this, and you just hear the thunder of hooves in the distance, and you don't see them right away, but then cresting over top of the hill, there's this pack of multicolored pastel horses thundering towards the camera, and in amongst them the camera like zooms in, and what's that? It's Maeve. She's in amongst the pastel horses, hoverboarding, leaning forward, leaning into it, and they all crest the hill and all leap into the air, and whatever cosmic radiance that illuminates this plane sort of catches, and it lens flares as they all come crashing back down onto the plane and straight towards camera. And you know the horses split off to either side around Trev 4, but Maeve comes right up to him and high fives him as she passes the camera.
Very good. Okay.
What's my complication?
What is your complication? Of course, I'm gonna mark another spot on the danger track. Peel has all been marked. Back is still remaining, but it sounds like that won't be much of an issue. I think your complication is...
I did rile up a bunch of horses, if that helps.
You did rile up a bunch of horses, and I think I want to get a couple more people into trouble here. I think I am going to target not you, but Helix and Brinley for a couple of slams. Brinley, because she can't quite move fast enough to get away from these horses, and Helix, because he kind of don't wanna. Or, whatever motivation that you want to have for that, Helix. And of course, y'all can nope your own slams, nope each other's slams, but otherwise, you're gonna take the aggressively jostled slam. Because trampled sounds too aggressive, but jostled doesn't sound aggressive enough.
I think I'm gonna nope it, just because I want the trouble.
Yeah, I'm gonna nope it too.
All right, mark 2 trouble each, friends.
Actually, maybe is it possible? Because a part of the nope is you have to describe like how you avoid it. I'm going to offer that I can, like, as I'm recording, filming all this, I see them in the background, approaching. Like maybe I can shout to them to try like shake their attention, just like Brinley to your left.
Trev, you are calling out to Brinley and Helix. And Helix, what do you perceive?
He sees, Trev at the top of the hill, and he shouts, Brinley, to your left, and maybe Helix, to your right. And there's horses on our left and right. But Helix sees that sort of come out of his speaker holes, spelled out onomatopoeia, like kinetic typography. He sees the words floating in the sky, and it's like, ugh, and just begins to that catches his attention, jumps out of the way of some trotting, chunky horses.
Can I make an offer?
Yeah.
He says Helix to your right, and you see a right arrow, and it moves towards you, and you have to step to meet with the arrow like Dance Dance Revolution.
Yeah. Sure. And if you want to piggyback off that anyway, Glenna, maybe the speed at which I step to these Dance Dance Revolution arrows and follow the kinetic typography is the burst of speed you need to move at least at normal speed, if not, out of the dream slow. Mm-hmm. But you tell me.
Well, so I'm basing the dream slow off of frequent dreams that I actually have.
Wow.
It's really frustrating, and I hate it, but it happens all the time. And what usually happens in those dreams is what Brinley is going to do is that through inaction, she comes out okay. I know that's a very chill move, but we're in dream world right now, so things are a little different. And I think she sort of like really slowly manages. It feels like she's going so slow, but like in reality, she's moving at normal speed.
Yeah.
And kind of like, again, like Neo in the Matrix. I don't know. Maybe it's because she sounds like Keanu Reeves. Like when he's fighting Smith at the end and just like very slowly blocking all of his moves. That's what it's like. And she sort of just like sidesteps the horses in time.
Almost like the gutsy maneuver here isn't doing the thing to get out of the way. The gutsy maneuver is almost like letting yourself flow through the movements and almost letting yourself escape.
Yeah.
Playing chicken with the horses.
Yeah.
You are one with the horses. There are no horses, but there are horses.
And so I only took one trouble. Dave got my other one and a style.
Yeah.
Sure. Take your trouble, Dave. You owe me.
Maeve, you pull off this beautiful trick. The horses are stampeding all around you, and the 5 of you successfully manage to kick into nth gear and punch through this thin zone out of Empyrean. At this moment, I would like one of you to roll 2d6.
Who's been rolling bets tonight?
I will do it.
Okay.
All right.
Actually, no, the last person to have the logic binders on should do it.
I believe it was Trev 4.
Yeah.
Okie doke. 2d6. Oh, no. That's double ones.
Double ones.
Why did I suggest that? Dave, you fucked us.
Thank you. I wanted you to roll to see where you ended up, and I have my answer with the double ones.
Ooh.
You break through the thin zone and feel the rush of nothing flood your senses, abruptly pulling you out of the dreamlike confusion of Empyrean. In an instant, you're through, and all you can comprehend at first is heat. Your skin cracks, you struggle to catch your breath, and your fans kick into overdrive. Above you is a matte yellow sky of hazy ash. All around you, jagged mountain ridges shoot up into the sky, some of them erupting and spewing smoke in the distance. A loud pop and hiss fires off close by as a geyser shoots out scalding steam. You've gone from a barely comprehensible dream to a painfully tangible nightmare. Welcome to the plane of Calorium.